يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يشفعون إلا لمن ارتضى وهم من خشيته مشفقون ومن يقل منهم إني إله من دونه فذلك نجزيه جهنم كذلك نجزي الظالمين أولم ير الذين كفروا أن السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي أفلا يؤمنون وجعلنا في الأرض رواسي أن تمد بهم وجعلنا فيها فجاجا سبلا لعلهم يهتدون وجعلنا السماء سقفا محفوظا وهم عن آياتها معرضون وهو الذي خلق الليل والنهار والشمس والقمر كل في فلك يسبحون وما جعلنا لبشر من قبلك الخلد أفإن مت فهم الخالدون كل نفس ذائقة الموت ونبلوكم بالشر والخير فتنة وإلينا ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم الصلوات
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا رآك الذين كفروا إن يتخذونك إلا هزوا أهذا الذي يذكر آلهتكم وهم بذكر الرحمن هم كافرون خلق الإنسان من عجل فأوريكم آياتي فلا تستعجلون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ولو يعلم الذين كفروا حين لا يكفون عن وجوههم النار ولا عن ظهورهم ولا هم ينصرون بل تأتيهم بغتة فتبهتهم فلا يستطيعون ردها ولا هم ينذرون ولقد استهزئ برسل من قبلك فهاك بالذين سخروا منهم ما كانوا به يستهزئون قل من يكلؤكم بالليل والنهار من الرحمن بل هم عن ذكر ربهم معرضون أم لهم آلهة تمنعهم من دوننا لا يستطيعون نصر أنفسهم ولا هم منا يصبحون بل متعنا هؤلاء وآباءهم حتى طال عليهم العمر أفلا يرون أنا نأتي الأرض ننقصها من أطرافها أفهم الغالبون قل إنما أنذركم بالوحي ولا يسمعه الصم الدعاء إذا ما ينذرون ولئن مستهم نفحة من عذاب ربك ليقولن يا ويلنا إن كنا ظالمين ونضع الموازين القسط ليوم القيامة فلا تظلم نفس شيئا وإن كان مثقال حبة من خردل آتينا بها وكفى بنا حاسبين. ولقد آتينا موسى وهارون الفرقان وضياء وذكرا للمتقين الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب وهم من الساعة مشفقون. وهذا ذكر مبارك أنزلناه أفأنتم له منكرون. استغفر الله. ولقد آتينا إبراهيم رشده من قبل وكنا به عالمين إذ قال لأبيه وقومه ما هذه التماثيل التي أنتم لها عاكفون. قالوا وجدنا آباءنا لها عابدين. قال لقد كنتم أنتم وآباؤهم في ضلال مبين. قالوا أجئتنا بالحق أم أنت من اللاعبين. قال بل ربكم رب السماوات والأرض الذي فطرهن وأنا على ذلك من الشاهدين. وتالله لأكيدن أصنامكم بعد أن تولوا مدبرين. فجعلهم خضاضا إلا كبيرا لهم لعلهم إليه يرجعون. قالوا من فعل هذا بآلهتنا إنه لمن الظالمين. قالوا سمعنا فتى يذكرهم يقال له إبراهيم. قالوا فأتوا به على أعين الناس لعلهم يشهدون. قالوا أأنت فعلت هذا بآلهتنا يا إبراهيم؟ قال بل فعله كبيرهم هذا فاسألوهم إن كانوا ينطقون. فرجعوا إلى أنفسهم فقالوا إنكم أنتم الظالمون. ثم نكسوا على رؤوسهم لقد علمت ما هؤلاء يتقون. قالوا أفتعبدون من دون الله ما لا ينفعكم شيئا ولا يضركم أف لكم ولما تعبدون من دون الله أفلا تعقلون. قالوا حركوه وانصروه آلهتكم إن كنتم فاعلين. قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما على إبراهيم وأرادوا به كيدا فجعلناهم الأخسرين. ونجيناه ولوطا إلى الأرض التي باركنا فيها للعالمين. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ووهبنا له إسحاق ويعقوب نافلة وكلا جعلنا صالحين وجعلناهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا وأوحينا إليهم فعل الخيرات وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وكانوا لنا عابدين. ولوطا آتيناه حكما وعلما ونجيناه من القرية التي كانت تعمل خبائث إنهم كانوا قوم سوء فاسقين. وأدخلناه في رحمتنا إنه من الصالحين. ونوحا إذا ناديا من قبل فاستجبنا له فنجيناه وأهله من الكرب العظيم. ونصرناه من القوم الذين كذبوا بآياتنا إنهم كانوا قوم سوء فأغرقناهم أجمعين. وداود وسليمان إذ يحكمان في الحرث إذ نفشت فيه غنم القوم وكنا لحكمهم شاهدين ففهمناها سليمان وكلا آتينا حكما وعلما وسخرنا مع داود الجبال يسبحنا والطير وكنا فاعلين وعلمناه صنعة لبوس لكم لتحسنكم من بأسكم فهل أنتم شاكرون ولسليمان الريح عاصفة تجري بأمره إلى الأرض التي باركنا فيها وكنا بكل شيء عالمين من الشياطين من يغوصون له ويعملون عملا دون ذلك وكنا لهم حافظين وأيوب إذ نادى يا ربه أني مسني الضر وأنت أرحم الراحمين فاستجبنا له فكشفنا ما به من ضر وآتيناه أهله ومثلهم معهم رحمة من عندنا وذكرا للعابدين وإسماعيل وإدريس وذا الكفل كل من الصابرين وأدخلناهم في رحمتنا إنهم من الصالحين وظنوني إذ ذهبا مغاضبا فظنا أن لن نقدر عليه فناديا في الظلمات أن لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين فاستجبنا له ونجيناه من الغم وكذلك نجي المؤمنين وزكريا إذ نادى يا ربه ربي لا تذرني فردا وأنت خير الوارثين فاستجبنا له ووهبنا له يحيى وأصلحنا له زوجه إنهم كانوا يسارعون في الخيرات ويدعوننا رغبا ورهبا وكانوا لنا خاشعين والتي أحسنت فرجها فنفخنا فيها من روحنا وجعلناها وأبناها آيات للعالمين إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاعبدون وتقطعوا أمرهم بينهم كل إلينا راجعون فمن يعمل من الصالحات وهو مؤمن فلا كفران لسعيه وإن له كاتبون وحرام على قرية أهلكناها أنهم لا يرجعون حتى إذا فتحت يأجوج ومأجوج وهم من كل حدب ينسلون واقترب الوعد الحق فإذا هي شاخصة أبصار الذين كفروا يا ويلنا قد كنا في غفلة من هذا بل كنا ظالمين إنكم وما تعبدون من دون الله حسبوا جهنم أنتم لها واردون لو كان هؤلاء آلهة ما وردوها وكل فيها خالدون لهم فيها زفير وهم فيها لا يسمعون إن الذين سبقت لهم منا الحسنى أولئك عنها مبعدون لا يسمعون حسيسها وهم فيما اشتهت أنفسهم خالدون لا يحزنهم الفزع الأكبر تتلقاهم الملائكة هذا يومكم الذي كنتم توعدون يوم نطوي السماء كطي السجل الكتب كما بدأنا أول خلق نعيده وعدا علينا إن كنا فاعلين ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين فما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين قل إنما يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فهل أنتم مسلمون فإن تولوا فقل آذنتكم على سواء وإن أدري أقريب بعيد ما توعدون إنه يعلم الجهر من القول ويعلم ما تكتمون وإن أدري لعله فتنة لكم ومتاع إلى حين قال رب احكم بالحق وربنا الرحمن المستعان على ما تصفون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم إن زلزلة الساعة شيء عظيم يوم ترونها تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بالسكرايا ولكن عذاب الله شديد ومن الناس من يجادل في الله بغير علم ويتبع كل شيطان مريد كتب عليه أنه من توله فأنه يضله ويهديه إلى عذاب السعير يا أيها الناس إن كنتم في ريب من البعث فإنا خلقناكم من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم من علقة ثم من مضغة مخلقة وغير مخلقة لنبين لكم ونقر في الأرحام ما نشاء إلى أجل مسمى ثم نخرجكم طفلا ثم لتبلغوا أشدكم ومنكم من يتوفى ومنكم من يرد إلى أرض العمر لكي لا يعلم من بعد علم شيئا وترى الأرض هامدة فإذا أنزلنا عليها الماء اهتزت وربت وأنبت من كل زوج بهيج ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأنه يحيي الموت وأنه على كل شيء قدير وأن الساعة آتية لا ريب فيها وأن الله يبعث من في القبور ومن الناس من يجادل في الله بغير علم ولا هدى ولا كتاب منير ثاني عطفه ليضل عن سبيل الله له في الدنيا خزي ونذيقه يوم القيامة عذاب الحريق ذلك بما قدمت يداك وأن الله ليس بظلام للعبيد ومن الناس من يعبد الله على حرف فإن أصابه خير اطمأن به وإن أصابته فتنة انقلب على وجهه خسر الدنيا والآخرة ذلك هو الخسران المبين. يدعو من دون الله ما لا يضره وما لا ينفعه، ذلك هو الضلال البعيد. يدعو لمن ضره أقرب من نفعه، لبئس المولى ولبئس العشير. إن الله يدخل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار. إن الله يفعل ما يريد. من كان يظن أن لن ينصره الله في الدنيا والآخرة فليمدد بسبب إلى السماء ثم ليقطع فلينظر هل يذهبن كيده ما يغيظ. وكذلك أنزلناه آيات بينات وأن الله يهدي من يريد. إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والصابئين والنصارى والمجوس والذين أشركوا إن الله يفصل بينهم يوم القيامة. إن الله على كل شيء شهيد. ألم تر أن الله يسجد له من في السماوات ومن في الأرض والشمس والقمر والنجوم والجبال والشجر والدواب وكثير من الناس وكثير حق عليه العذاب ومن يحن الله فما له من مكرم. إن الله يفعل ما يشاء. هذان خصمان اختصموا في ربهم فالذين كفروا قطعت لهم ثياب من النار يصب من فوق رؤوسهم الحميم يسحر به ما في بطونهم والجلود ولهم مقامع من حديد. كلما أرادوا أن يخرجوا منها من غم أعيدوا فيها وذوقوا عذاب الحريق. إن الله يدخل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار يحلون فيها من أساور من ذهب ولؤلؤا ولباسهم فيها حرير. وهودوا إلى الطيب من القول وهودوا إلى صراط الحميد. إن الذين كفروا يصدون عن سبيل الله والمسجد الحرام الذي جعلناه للناس سواء العاكف فيه والباد. ومن يرد فيه بإلحاد بظلم نذقه من عذاب أليم. وإذا بوّنا لإبراهيم مكان البيت ألا تشرك بي شيئا وطهر بيتي للطائفين والقائمين والركع السجود. وأذن في الناس بالحج يأتوك رجالا وعلى كل ضامر يأتين من كل فج عميق ليشهدوا منافع لهم ويذكروا اسم الله في أيام معلومات على ما رزقهم من بهيمة الأنعام. فكلوا منها وأطعموا البائس الفقير. ثم ليقضوا تفاثهم نزورهم وليطوفوا بالبيت العتيق ذلك ومن يعظم حرمات الله فهو خير له عند ربه وأحلت لكم الأنعام إلا ما يتلى عليكم فاجتنبوا الرجس من الأوثان واجتنبوا قول الزور صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Jazakallah, Brother Akbar, Brother Suhail and Maulana for such a beautiful recitation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Mu'minin Ikram. Once again, I'd like to welcome you all at Islamic Center MOMIN for the Ramzan programs, which is going on for, inshallah, 31 days, continues. Tonight, it's on the calendar, it's the last night for the speech with Maulana Mirza Mohammed Baig. And as you all know, he's reciting a Jummah Salat here every Friday. On the behalf of the Islamic Center MOMIN and MOMIN Executive Committee and MOMIN community members, we'd like to thank Maulana Mirza Mohammed Baig to accepting this duty and fulfilling this gap which created by the COVID. We like to thank him and pray for his health, inshallah. And also, before I invite the Maulana, today I have an honor to announce the sponsorship of tonight's sponsor, the girl who born in this community, grew up in this MOMIN Center, played on this parking space. She is now old, means it's daughter to me, and she sponsored this niyaz for tonight, for iftar, and Maulana will be recite the Surah Fatiha for his marhumin. But I like to thank her from bottom of my heart. May Allah accept your ibadah and may Allah increase your tawfiq, sister. Jazakallah. With that, as you all know, we are running a little bit behind, so Maulana will be recite the Surah Fatiha at the end of the program. I'd like to request once again Maulana Mirza Mohammed Baig to come to the minbar and address the Mu'mineen with your loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil.
Please listen to these names carefully. Shagufta Raza Ali binte Sayyid Zafar Abbas, Sayyid Zafar Abbas ibn Sayyid Mazhar Abbas, Tayyaba Abbas binte Asghar Hussain, Sayyid Hassan Raza ibn Sayyid Muhammad Raza, Tayyaba Begum binte Liyaqat Hussain, Sayyid Hassan Abbas Ibn Sayyid Ali Abbas, Mirun Nisa, and all marhumeen, and especially those marhumeen who do not have anyone to recite Fatiha for them, please recite a Surah Fatiha. حسبنا الله نعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. The subject is Akhir al-Zaman, the end times, the times before the coming of our Imam, which is in Ghaibat Kubra. It is the times that we are living in. This subject has been an issue of importance in Hadith. When we looked at the Hadith of the Prophet and the Imams, they truly described Akhir al-Zaman as very difficult times to live in for a believer. Because it will be very hard for MOMINin to maintain their faith in Allah. They will break and they will lose their faith for many reasons. And those reasons have been mentioned in Hadith. I'm not going to go through an exhaustive discussion. This is just a taste of things that have been mentioned. The whole subject itself is an institution of learning. Learning principles that are right and knowing how to recognize wrong all comes in the principles that have been mentioned to us in these hadiths. So that's what we are going through. Yesterday I said something regarding the children and the youngsters of Akhir al-Zaman, that Rasulullah described them in a very harsh manner, that they will be filthy, they will be ill-mannered, they will be rude. Their manners, you will see, they will lack in manners. They will not have respect for elders around them. They will not have the honor for having elders around them, even their own father. When you look at the akhlaq of Ahlul Bayt, when, for example, a father would come in the room, the children would make sure that they're sitting up in respect in order not to disrespect the father or the parents, for that matter. They wouldn't be just lying down and doing whatever they can. They would acknowledge the presence of their father and their mother as they come in. They would look at themselves and they would change what they were doing in order to bring their focus on to the parents, because they are more important than anything else that they're doing. And that's the reason you see that when you lose those akhlaq, and when children don't have any respect and honor for the position of parents, that's when you start losing them. And the reason that we lose them is because the training methods that we will use will not be something that Allah trained us in or Ahlul Bayt taught us. It would be something that we learned from foreigners, from kuffar. And truly that is how it is. When a child has a problem, we have parents that are dumb enough to take them to counselors, to kuffar, to teach them how to be human beings. They haven't learned how to be human beings, that they haven't recognized their own creator. How can they teach others? That's why we go to Allah and Ahlul Bayt for learning, to understand what is right. And so when we went there, they taught us, listen, take it easy on your children, Children can break. And so forth. They taught us that, so now we are scared to do that. And if you do get hard, we will teach your children to call 911 also. So now everyone's afraid that if I become too hard on them, then you know what? There's going to be problems. Now parents have become hostage to the children. Children have made them hostage to make them do whatever they want, because they know that not just the law, also their reputation is on the line with the children. And so the parents have a hard time now. How do we discipline the child without making them upset? An impossible task. And because it's an impossible task, they can't do it. So they just give in and say, okay, do what you want as long as you're happy. And this is the worst way of raising children. This is the worst way. Anyone would tell you that, you know what? I just give them anything they want. They want a phone, I give them phone. They want internet, I give them internet. They want games, I give them games, as long as they don't create problems. Now, on one hand, it could be the parents' laziness also, that they don't want to deal with it. So whatever the case is, we see Rasulullah sent lanat on the parents for training their children like this. But these are some of the difficulties that we go through in raising children. One of the issues that happens in the house is the fact that the wives don't respect the husbands and the husbands don't respect the wives. They have no respect for each other's boundaries, for each other's rights. They don't know where to stop. They think that the other one is the property of the other one. And because they do not recognize these boundaries of respect, they go too far and go into places where they shouldn't be going. So Rasulullah's hadith regarding, for example, the wives, it says, the wives of mu'mineen will be disrespectful, impudent, and shameless. These will be the wives of believers, themselves mu'minat, and they will be like that. That if you look at their akhlaq, and if you look at how they behave, that's how they'll be. They will have no respect for the rights of the husband or his place. And because they don't have rights, that disrespect is going to trickle down to the children. And the children will also be like, the father would be the butt of all jokes. No respect, everything. He's just like, for example, a comedian in the house. And not just they learned it from the mother, but they also learned it from the society of kuffar that we live in. Look at every TV show, and you will see that it's always the father that becomes the joke of the sitcom. That you are at liberty to laugh at and to look down upon your father. And it's okay. The wife puts the husband down whenever she wants to. The children make jokes about the father, and it becomes an okay thing to disrespect the father. And this eventually is going to destroy the morals of the house and the faith that they have in Allah. Allah kept the wali in the house in order that you respect the wali, and because of the respect you have for the wali, you will have respect for Allah. It is the same reason why Allah kept a wali in this dunya, in this world. He kept an imam in this world. He didn't have to keep an imam in this world. He kept the imams in this world as a wali in order that you respect them, and by respecting them, you will respect Allah. But if you do not respect the wali, you will have no respect for Allah. That's why it was idiotic for shaitan to tell Allah, Allah, I will respect you, but not your wali. Allah says, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to respect the wali first. That's how it works. So Allah placed the father in the house in order that we can gain faith in Allah by respecting that position. And if you cannot do that in the house, the morals are going to fall apart, the faith is going to fall apart, and thereafter you will see that our relationship with Allah will be turning into animosity. Now a person would fight against everything that belongs to Allah. Inside of his heart, he'll start hating it. That's why loving the wali of Allah is a condition to not become an enemy of Allah. And this is where we end up. Akhir zaman is a time when Allah is saying, that the hadith is saying, that the children will be disrespectful, the wives will be disrespectful. This is not a good habit. And in order to get rid of that, we need to recognize what wilayat is and how to respect the wali. It doesn't mean, for example, that the wali is always right. It doesn't mean that he is masoom. Wali in our lives doesn't have to be masoom. Yes, Imam-e-Zamana is masoom because he represents deen, that's why. Not because he's wali. Because he represents deen and Allah. So anyone who represents Allah, that is different. They have to be masoom. They have to be someone that Allah can guarantee. But we don't represent the deen. But we do have wilayat also. So being a wali doesn't mean that you are masoom, that you have to be infallible or sinless. No, Allah kept that there. Just like, for example, He kept the Kaaba. Allah's Baytullah is the Kaaba. He kept it there for what? In order that we respect it. When we learn to respect it, then we will learn to respect Allah. And in every house you have something like the Kaaba, which is called Quran. That's in every house. Why is it there? Well, yes, of course, to read it and to know it, to know the message of the Quran, that's there. But before we even get into that, we have to have respect for the Quran. We have to respect it. Allah says, when you respect it, that's why we have rules. Don't touch the Quran without wudu, meaning the text of the Quran. Outside is makruh, but still don't touch it without wudu. Have that respect. Why? Because through that respect, you are going to build your relationship with Allah. Even if you don't read it, even if you are unable to read it, but still having respect for it. For example, we have the alam of Imam Hussain, Hazrat Abbas, in every house. Why is it there? That is just, really, it's just placed there in order that if we respect it, we will build our relationship with Allah. Allah will give the tawfiq. Because it's related to the Imams. That's why. These are things through which respect we have, and that's how we build ourselves. So as I said, even though the hadiths are very harsh regarding the children and the wives and even the mu'mineen, so that the women don't think that there's nothing about the men. Well, let me just say something about the men also. Mu'mineen also. In Akhirat, it says that taking refuge in mu'mineen will be a source of humiliation. Mu'mineen, their characters will be such that if you ask them for help, all you will get is humiliation. That's why people will be afraid to ask help from mu'mineen. That's the character of mu'mineen men at that time. You ask them for help, the first thing they'll do is humiliate you, put you down, disgrace you in front of others, open your secrets in front of others. This is how it happens. These are the men. Hadith goes on to say that on the outward they look like humans, but their inside is shaitan. There will be shaitan. Their hearts will be shaitan. When you approach them, you see that, how they become really a source of misery when you ask something. And this is what happens. Ask a moment for a loan and you will see. Not only will he not give it to you, he is going to say something also. Give you some advice how to manage your affairs. How to look after yourself. Isn't that? And if he gives, it's worse. Not only does he give, it's like exposing yourself to everyone. This time, Akhir Zaman, will be a time that a person will be forced to go to non-Muslims and ask them for help rather than Mu'mineen. These are the characters that we are dealing with nowadays. And this is awful. A sad sign. It's not funny. It's really sad. And it's really sad for Imam Zaman. That imagine how Imam Zamana is looking at these believers and saying, these are my Shias. That one Shia cannot even go to another one without being humiliated and disgraced and put through misery and dragged through dirt. This is how hard it is. So for us, truly, we need to pay attention to Akhir Zaman and what's happening nowadays. Nowadays, what's happening? We need to live with those principles that we do not become like that. That we don't end up like that. Let's send the salawats. Now, the reason that this is happening, you can see one of the main reasons that Rasulullah gives in the hadith as to why this is happening is because of the fact that dunya will become more important than deen. Anything that has to do with dunya becomes very important. Anything that has to do with deen becomes irrelevant, really unimportant. And let me go deeper into that. I'm just going to say this as a deeper part. It doesn't mean about money. It doesn't mean about, for example, big homes or designer clothes. Deen here, when it means that their deen will become their dunya, what does that mean? Meaning, just the hadith, let me just say that the Iman, there will be nothing remaining of Iman except for its name. There will be nothing remaining of Islam except for leftovers. And the Quran will only be used for entertainment. To give out prizes and entertainment and all of that. Now, when you look at these hadiths, right, you see that everything that has to do with deen will be looked at in terms of dunya. This is very important. This is what's Akhir Zaman. You see, in the time of Rasulullah and the Imams, there was dunya also. People ran after dunya. But it wasn't Akhir Zaman. People ran after dunya. There was a lot of dunya there. Money, wealth, lots of children. Allah speaks about it in the Quran. Having more children was a source of pride. Alhaakumut takathur hatta zurtumul maqabir. You pride yourself in having more children, more relatives, bigger family. So that was then also, it's still there now. But what is Akhir Zaman? What is special about Akhir Zaman? They used to count dunya and they used to pride themselves on dunya. In Akhir Zaman, their deen will become like dunya. Deen will not be looked at a relationship between us and Allah. It will be quantified and will be looked at. Its success is going to be gauged not by Allah's pleasure but by people's pleasure. And even amongst, for example, ulama, I've heard this, many Maulanas I talk to, he says, so what do you do there, Do you have Friday prayer? I said, yes. How many people Friday prayers? About 8 or 10. We have 300. Is that something good? Does that make it better? Where is this thinking coming from that if we get more people, it's successful? Where did we get these wrong ideas from? And this is the thing, deen has become their dunya. Now everything that has to do with dunya, more children, more money is now in deen. Oh, we have a school that we run. We have Sunday school. We have Islamic school. We have full-time school. Everyone is trying to sell their product. And no one is saying or seeing, am I doing this for Allah? Why am I doing this? What are we doing this for? All these efforts we are taking just to show that we can do better than the other one. This is the situation throughout America. So don't just look at Dallas and say, oh my God. It's not just here, my friends. You're not the only victims of this kufr, of this thinking that has swept us. Everyone looks at deen as their dunya. They try to quantify deen and say that it's successful. Whereas Allah has clearly said it doesn't matter. Let me tell you who has more people. أَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Most people follow shaitan. So if you want to believe in majority, that's where it is. Very few people believe in me. Allah is saying this. Very few people believe in me. Most of them don't believe. Most of them have no iman. So what does that mean? That has nothing to do with truth and falsehood. Nothing to do with that. This is something that we need to now start to believe in again. We have to start believing in that. This is the arguments we used to give to the Sunnis. Remember? A few years back when we were in Pakistan, we were saying that Aksariyat doesn't matter. We used to give the same argument there, and we come over here and applying the same argument to our own efforts. We need to be careful not to quantify our deen and to look at ourselves in relationship to Allah, that Allah, are you happy with this? Am I doing it the right way? If this is the right thing for me to do, I don't care if no one comes here. I'm doing it the way you want it. That's the way I want to do it. And this is what will make you right on the Day of Judgment, in your grave, and everything that happens after it. But if you go on with this thinking that, you know what, I'm going to vie for this and get more customers to come in my shop, you know, I opened the shop, so let's get more customers here. I'm going to attract them with this and I'm going to attract them with that. This is not for Allah then. It has nothing to do with Allah. It has nothing to do with them. Imam Hussein wasn't trying to attract people. In fact, he was trying to tell them, get away from me. You're going to get killed. Get away from me. You're going to get killed. And this is the problem that's happening. We think that having more people is going to make us successful. It won't. Doing it the way Allah wants it to be done, that is our success. That is when we can say, Fuztu bi Rabbil Kaaba. That's when we can say that. I did it the way you wanted, Allah. The way you liked it, I did it. No one was with me. Everyone left me. Imam Ali is saying this, right? No one was with me. Everyone left me. But I did it the way you wanted. I did not leave you so that I can get more people in my pocket. Imam Ali just had to, make a little bit of compromise. Talha and Zubair came and said, listen, we're all buddies here. Come on, For old time's sake, give us something respectable. A place here, a place there, something, throw a bone here. You're the leader now. I said, sorry, it doesn't work like that. If he had made a little bit of compromises, you know what? So many things history would have changed. History would have changed in favor, astaghfirullah, I wouldn't say that, but for us, in favor of Ahlul Bayt. 2 men in Imam Ali's army, his own Shias, they were found drinking wine. They were caught drinking wine. So they were brought to Imam Ali for whatever judgment in the camp, the army camp. Abdullah ibn Abbas, who was the advisor for Imam Ali, said that, Maula, you know that these are our soldiers and we have been at war for a year now and people are tired. Let it go. Otherwise, a lot of our soldiers will think that Imam Ali has no rahm and mercy on his own soldiers. After all that they have done for you, they fought for you, they bled for you, and you have no mercy. So let go of them, just ignore this. Imam Ali said, listen, these 2 men were found drinking, there's witnesses to that, and they will get 10 lashes each. And he administered the lashes. And he was warned, like, listen, if your soldiers are going to run away, others will see this and say, if that's how he deals with his soldiers, you know what, I don't want to be a soldier. And Abdullah ibn Abbas was right. Many soldiers left Imam Ali. They said, we don't want to fight for such a leader. If he cannot have our back, we don't want to have his back. It didn't matter. For Imam Ali said, this is Allah's laws. I'm not going to break Allah's laws, even if everyone runs away from here. Doesn't matter if anyone runs away, brothers. What really matters is that we do things the way Allah wants them to be done. And when you do that, then you are right. Akhir Zaman is a time when people are going to sell their religion very cheaply. The relationship they have with Allah will be sold very cheaply. Few more minutes. One more thing I will raise regarding this. Let's send the salawats. Yeah, the Azan time is going back, so I'm gaining more time to speak to people. So it's good. One more thing I will say, that the hadith about Akhir Zaman, Rasulullah says that inna indana yu'ti bishayyin min al-mashriq wa shay'in min al-maghrib wa yulawwinu ummati. He says that Akhir Zaman will be a time when ideas, foreign ideas, are going to creep from the east and the west into my ummah, into my followers, into Muslims, and these ideas are going to color my people. My people will get their color from these ideas that are foreign to Islam. Wherever they live, and you see that. It's amazing. If you go to Florida, you will see a different environment in Shia masjids, Shia centers. If you go to San Francisco, you will see a different environment there. If you come to Dallas, you will see a different environment. And these environments that are there, which are different from each other, are taken from the kuffar that they live amongst. Which side they belong, what thinking they belong to. If you go to Florida or Texas, for example, it's a red state. People are conservative here and they believe in religion and ignorance. So, you will see that the masjids, the people also will have the same thinking. The people will have the same thinking. If you go to the West Coast or the Northeast, that's where you have the liberals, the tree huggers and the whale lovers. So these people influence the people there. Really. And our people take it from them to be liberal and get liberal ideas and think that this is right. Unfortunately, this is how Rasulullah had said this. It's going to happen. And Muslims and mu'mineen are going to take the color of the kuffar, ideas from them, and then they will think that these ideas are somehow Islamic. And because they believed in those ideas, now when they read the Quran or a hadith, they'll say, aha, you see, this hadith is about that idea. When you believe in something and read the Quran, then you will see what you want in the Quran to prove your point. Quran is not guiding you. You are now doing tafsir of the Quran with your opinion, based on your opinion. You didn't go to the Quran to see what Allah says and let me see that first. No, I've already been colored and tainted by these ideas. Now I want to go to the Quran and Hadith and Ahlul Bayt and see how they will give me the proofs so I can stand on what I have accepted. This is the problem. A lot of these ideas that we see are being crept in like that. And Rasulullah warned us that this is Akhir Zaman. These ideas will come. These are not Islamic ideas. These are not things that Ahlul Bayt stood for or that they taught us. And these are not, we're just normal people. Even I have seen Islamic books about subjects like these that are not Islamic at all, that have nothing to do with Islam. They take the ideas of the West, put an ayat and paste a hadith here and there and say that this is an Islamic version. Though it's not. You took ideas that are foreign to us and put an ayat and hadith there and did tafsir of that ayat and hadith based on things you have already accepted. This is not Islamic. In fact, you are much worse off than the people who haven't written that book. Because now you're misguiding others to believe that this is an Islamic principle. This is what's going to happen in Akhir Zaman. But my friends, I told you, you know what? One of the things that will happen in Akhir Zaman that never happened before will be the zuhur of our Imam. I don't have time for this now. Just I want to say, zuhur of the Imam. You know why the zuhur of the Imam will happen? Just this, I told you I will leave you with hope. You know why it will happen? It will happen because in Akhir Zaman, you had mu'mineen who were worth it. You had believers who are worth having the Imam with them. That's why he's coming. He's not coming back because we are weak. He's coming back because mu'mineen will be so strong and so smart and so savvy, and they would be so much understanding and marifat that's why the Imam is coming back. The environment will be ready for him to come back. So this goes to show that even with all the problems, those who actually are going to make themselves strong are going to become so strong that such believers did not exist before. May Allah help us to become that. وَآخِرَ الدَّعْوَانَا أَنِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. I will read these names again for Fatiha, so please pay attention, and then inshallah we will go and do the azan and start the prayer. My friends, these are names for Fatiha. Shagufta Raza Ali bint Sayyid Zafar Abbas, Sayyid Zafar Abbas ibn Sayyid Mazhar Abbas, Tayyaba Abbas bint Asghar Hussain, Sayyid Hassan Raza ibn Sayyid Muhammad Raza, Tayyaba Begum bint Liyaqat Hussain, Sayyid Hassan Abbas ibn Sayyid Ali Abbas, Mirun Nisa, and all marhumin, and those marhumin who do not have anyone for Fatiha, please recite a Surah Fatiha for all their souls. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. microphone for the prayer.
Inshallah, we give the azan. Brothers, due to the bad weather situation, inshallah, right after the namaz-e-Maghriban, we are going to distribute the iftar, but we are cancelling the dua-iftitah for tonight. So you can, just because of the weather, warnings are coming in from Irving City. So that's why. Right after namaz, inshallah, iftar, dua-iftitah will be cancelled tonight. Jazakallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على لا إله الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله هيا على الصلاة هيا على الصلاة هيا على الفلاح هيا على الفلاح هيا على خير الأمل هيا على خير الأمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانهر إن شانئك هو الأبتر الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر نظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه، وهو الشهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر، وجعلت خيرا من ألف شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفك ركبتي من النار، في من تمن عليه وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah, ashhadu anna Aliyan hujjatullah, هيا على الصلاة، هيا على الصلاة، هيا على الفلاح، هيا على الفلاح، هيا على خير الأمل، هيا على خير الأمل. قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانهر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى بحمده. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى بحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله ربي. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى بحمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى بحمده. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, 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 Subhana Rabbil Azim wa bihamdi. Sami Allahu liman hamida. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, 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 Subhana Rabbil A'la wa bihamdi. Allahu Akbar, astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayhi. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, 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 Subhana Rabbil A'la wa bihamdi. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ادخل على أهل القبور السرور. اللهم اغن كل فقير. اللهم اشبع كل جائع. اللهم اكس كل عريان. اللهم اقضي دين كل مدين. اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب. اللهم رد كل غريب. اللهم فك كل عسير. اللهم اصلح كل فاسد من امور المسلمين. اللهم اشف كل مريض. اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك. اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك. اللهم اقضي عنا الدين واغننا من الفقر إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد.
Assalamu alayka ya Rasulallah, ya Habiballah, ya Khayra Khalqillah wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, ya Ibn Rasulullah, ya Husayn ayyuha shahidu bi karabillah wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayka ya Sahib al-Asr wa zamana jallallahu ta'ala farajak wa sahla Allah makhrajak wa dahurak. Assalamu alaykum jami'il masumin wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.